He's chuffing up today. Right, we're going to move that into the barn. Just going to get Dad to come and tow me in. Couldn't get my fucking camera to work. Anyway, the speedo works, oddly enough. So just towing me across the field at about 1.5 miles an hour, and the speedo was going between nothing and 20 violently. Might have to clean the cable. Well, that was achieved. There's one thing I hadn't actually factored into this this move, is that when I was rolling it backwards under gravity from up there down to here, and it pretty much went most of the way, Dad sort of like shouted, and we made it underneath the front edge of the roof, the canopy there, by about 2 inches. It's a bit taller than I thought. This thing's about, well, it's taller than me. So, and I can go under here. I reckon there's about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches in it. Right, okay, let's crack on. So what I want to do, I need to do an assessment really of all of the bits that I need. I'm getting a headache in here because of the fucking paint. So I need to work at the front end, I think. Start building up a list of the bits that I'm going to need. And then we can get it to move forwards a stretch or two. Don't think I'm going to strip it down too much. I think I'm inclined to leave the body pretty much as it is, although I am going to take the front wings off so I can do the bulkhead floors and so forth, do those properly. Screen will probably stay in. It's not too bad, there's little rusty holes here and there, unless my glasses somewhere. You can see, but I can't. Painted these. Got that bloody thing out of that Triumph so I can cover so I can give it a proper good powder coat. These things, if you haven't got one of these, they are brilliant. Big old tree strop. Just run it around the front spring hanger. Right, so I think it's going to end up, today's going to be an assessment day. I'm going to get that, oh hello, it's Dad getting the barbecue ready. I'm going to get bits checked out. Now I have actually got a pair of, you see this one's pretty terrible. I have got a pair of doors in here. Red Shed's looking after them. Yeah, there's a pair of doors down there. I don't know what sort of shape they're in there. They might be worse. They're Series 2A doors. Now, you can see the blue colour around the bulkhead, because the other thing I wanted to try and do was to see if I could flat back some of this paint on the wing tops and so forth, and if it becomes easy to flat back, then I will most likely flat everything back. So if you look down on the inner wings here, that's the blue. So it's fairly easy to get a paint match. The whole bulkhead, apart from the bit that's at the top there, is the blue. So I think someone masked it up with a, I don't know, a dead camel and just threw paint at it. It's good enough though. The brakes started to work, oddly enough. They do work, but they're not brilliant, which is encouraging. I'm going to end up replacing master, all slaves. How much of the paintwork, how much of the pipe work I need to replace, I'm going to suss out. Oh yeah, maybe the first job I need to do is get the radio working. I need to find out why the radio's not working. So front corner, drums off. Like I mentioned in my other videos, you've got no idea how old these shoes are. Best thing to do is to not start wafting dust all over the place, because you don't know if they are going to be contaminated with asbestos or any shit like that. It's a twin cylinder setup. Yeah, I've got the pipe work down there. It's a twin cylinder setup. Not a lot of access for the pipe, is there? I shall remake up pipes, I think. I think what we'll end up doing is draining down the braking system and really just build it up from scratch with new everything. Is there an adjuster on that? Yes, there is an adjuster on that as well. So each of the shoes has got its own adjuster. You see there, if I twistle that, moves the shoe out. And this adjuster down here, does this one work? Oh, he's a bit fucking tight, he is. I suspect that wasn't working. Right, let's get shoes and things off, drain the hydraulic system down, start doing some work on this. Look at the amount of sediment and crap inside this braking system. Yeah. Right, okay, I pulled the pistons out because I couldn't get either of the bleed nipples undone, and that's drained pretty much all of the fluid here out of the master, which I think is now empty. Yes, there's a load of crap in there as well. I'll get the master cylinder off because I want to assess that, but also I started undoing the steering arms and so forth. Well, if I've got no way of stopping people from nicking the car, I might as well fucking immobilise it, hadn't I? Right, where are we? Servo. Let's get it on. Right, it's got the front wing off. Bulkhead? Ain't too bad. I wonder where the yellow comes from though. Do you think that's just an undercoat? It's gone along the bottom edges down here. That's not unsurprising. Some reason the aerial cable though has got liquid in it. Not quite sure about that. Right, okay, so that's quite good news. I'm out of breath because I've been lifting the bulkhead and shit all around. Huge pile of crap fell out from behind you. I had to cut a couple of bolt heads off, but on the whole though, it's not bad. Right, the master cylinder should come off now. It feels like it's going to wiggle. It's just rusted in solid in there, but it's moving. I'll get a little bit of this stuff's quite good. It's not WD-40, it's releasing penetrant for now. Right, now I've got access now to the clevis pin that holds the brake pedal onto the servo. I can get the servo off as well. And start assessing the state of the brake master, the amount of room you get with the wing out of the way. Now, had it not been for a whole load of kind of inaccessible and seized bolts around and about, I probably would have been all right. Now, I think this chassis has had a fair amount of work done to it. My phone's done it again. My phone just loves turning itself. It's like, record away and it just suddenly decides, oh, I think you've recorded enough now. You've bored these people silly, so I'm just going to stop recording. So I've got no idea how much you heard of that long. What I was saying just then was the nose of the chassis. You can see it's had an extension welded on. So the front dumine has been replaced. It's a tricky one really, isn't it? Because it depends on how good the rest of it is. I mean, that's obviously a fairly heavy duty seam weld going round that. It seems all right. I think we need to dig a little bit further into chassis to find out what's going to go on there. Can't get the door hinges undone. Something's going to have to sacrifice there, but I'm not doing that just yet because I can keep the door on it. Look at this hairy little bastard. He's about 2 foot long. No, he's not. Yeah, he's a wasp going around me now. Quite big though. Don't know where he's come from. Looking for a bit of shelter. While we're here though, we can look at the inside of the wing, which again is very clean. Quite pleased with it. There's nothing nasty about it. Nothing. I can cut this off. Weld a new footwell in there. A-post could be savable on this side, which will make life a little bit easier. I'm not going to bother unbolting all the trim panels at the bottom here. That can stay on there. Right, he's going over there now. Oh, I fancy an ice cream for some reason. I'll have to get my tapping tool shortly. Bush on that shackle seems to be quite worn as it goes through the chassis, so I just need to double check to find out how much movement there is on that. Right, I was going to do this bloody servo and I'm gabbing on about other odds and sods and shite, and let's just get on with it. The clutch and the brake pedal boxes out. They came out okay. Nothing particularly nasty underneath, a bit of surface corrosion, nothing horrible. I think that all comes as part of the footwell anyway, so the whole lot will get replaced. Then I thought, well, great, I'm going to get these slave cylinders off. And I was trying to undo the bleed nipple on the bottom one because it ain't shifting. Where is he? There he is. I've actually broken a pair of mole grips. Fuck's sake. I'm going to get brutal with it, I think. It's just going to fucking come out. With a lot of wrestling, I got the slave out and you can see it's quite badly corroded. And the problem is, because they're aluminium, I had a hell of a job getting the even the brake union. I mean, these tools, I love these things. There's a one-armed Australian bloke demonstrated this stuff to me, and I had to put some serious leverage on this to get this thing out. So what I'm sure we've got here is a steel brake ferrule in an aluminium slave cylinder, and it has seized in. Oh, it's warm, and it has seized in pretty solid, but it came out because just curiosity wants to get this bastard thing apart. Yeah, steel. Confirm that. Oh, hello. Right, now, I want to get this fucker out now. I want to see how tight this is. Oh! That was my entire weight. All 17 stone of me hanging off that. God knows how they bled the brakes on this last time. I've got no idea how they bled the brakes. I was kind of half anticipating that was just snap off. Right, I don't need to go any further with that. That's scrap anyway, but holy shit, that was tight. Again, steel. Right, so what I'm doing when I'm ripping this thing all apart is I've got a box for offside front. That's all the bolts and the shit that I've come off with while I've been doing this side. Empty beer tin. Get rid of that. Right, I'm going to start packing up, I think. I think I've done most of what I wanted to achieve today. I'll carry on tomorrow. What I probably want to do is to unstitch this footwell, because I think what's happened is, I'll double check, but I think what's happened is someone's welded in a lower section to the footwell, so the floor needs to come out. That should be relatively straightforward, and then they've patched in a big piece on the side here. So I'll take the rubber off, I'll take the door off, I'll see if I can get the footwell out and leave the A-post in and see how tidy that is going to be, because you can see the bulkhead's rotted through at the bottom here and it's actually pretty spongy in most places. So that looks to me to be an original bulkhead side that someone's welded a new A-post onto. And then down here you can see the original, sorry, you can see the bottom of that footwell and the other panel that they've put in. Seen worse. I have seen worse. There's all the pedal boxes down there. Put those on the store. I can't get the clevis pin out on the brake pedal at all. It is seized. Might end up being a 20-ton press job. That'll be a laugh. I'll video that. Right, in the meantime, I'm clearing up. I don't know, my beer. Strip downs continuing. Handles and shit coming out. Found some more issues. So the driver's door, which I think is still savable, I can get this new bottom bar. That just comes as a repair piece. Grind all this crap out and weld a new bottom bar in, because the rest of it, and I need to get the door top off. Which is only held on by a couple of bolts here. Get the door top off and find out what sort of state that's in. Then the rest of the door can come off. I need to try and get these hinges off. But they are proving to be quite difficult right now. The bolts that go into the bulkhead are seized up solid. So I might go at them with a drill Otherwise, what I'm going to have to do is just basically put an angle grinding cutting disc through there to cut the heads of the bolts off. A hinge will come away, buy a new hinge, and get on with it, because they go into captive fixings, actually on the A-post itself. I want to get the hinges off because I want to flap all this back and find out if there's any filler in there. I don't think there is. I think this door top section is actually in pretty good order on this side. Worryingly though, there is a big lob of what looks like filler up here. In fact, what we could do is go and get Mr. Screwdriver and Mr. Jemmy there. Ah, see, that probably shouldn't move like that. There was a tiny bit of filler up there. Just want to check it's not all fucking... It's all going to get taken back to bare steel anyway. Well, not bare, it will go back to be flatted back and painted. Painted that colour blue. It looked good, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't know what that was up there. I mean, a subtle change of plan on this door. It's fucking rotten. I've got all of the aluminium trims out of it, all these bits. I mean, you can get them new, but if I can reuse the old aluminium trims which secure the glass into the frame. Ooh, nice spider's nest up there. Right, I can't get the door top off the door. The door's split up here as well. Shouldn't be split there. I think the whole assembly might be a shift it quick on eBay job. I want to get the door's going to have to come off. I'm not holding out much hopes either of getting the hinges off. But the door top is now, I've managed to snap both nuts off. They didn't put up with a huge amount of aggression either. There's no way was that going to ever undo, ever. So, yes, I want to get the door off so I can get this rubber off, because that rubber I want to save. That's just pop riveted on. That's good. Once that rubber's out of the way, this one can come out of the way fairly easily as well. It's just pop riveted on. These rubbers, I mean, I've used the brand spanking new rubbers, and they're a pain in the bollocks because they're like made out of cast iron or something. It means you can't ever shut the damn door. Right. I'm not holding much hope with these bolts coming out over here, largely because these ones have gone in drier than a witch's tit. That hinge is fucked anyway. I think it's seen better days. I think we'll give up on those. Right, let's get the mirror unit off. It's a nice wing guard mirror stem. I don't want to lose that, so I suggest I'm doing these two here, which may end up being done on the bench. It depends on what I can do about these. I imagine if I just put a slice through there and through there, I'm going to cut the head of the bolt off. Door itself, all I need off the door now is the galv capping, because that needs to go onto a new door or a different door. Just typically rust out to my debris pile here. Actually saying that, the door top isn't that bad. Now I tipped all the crap out of it. These bits here are the fixings that I couldn't find. There's one out. I couldn't find these because they were just completely corroded in. No, I don't think... I think I could sell this door top, but it's going to need new threads putting on it because they both snapped off at the bottom. And I suspect by the time I get it off, it's going to be fucked. But the skin isn't too bad on the door bottom. We might recover the door bottom yet. Seems a shame to unnecessarily chuck these things away. I'll have to research the price of a new door and top versus the amount of time it's going to take me to get that one sorted out. They're very light, these things, by the way. Not like a Range Rover door. Very light. Right, let's get on with these. Mirror first, I think. See if we can get that off. Right, been shopping around. Hinges are a fiver, so I'm just going to cut the fuckers off. Door tops seem to be quite difficult to get hold of, but I found someone that does a unglazed top section, £29 plus VAT plus delivery. Door bottoms seem to be a little bit more expensive, about 60 quid, 60, 70 quid for a door bottom. I might be able to salvage the door bottom. At 29 quid for the door top though, it's probably a bit of a no-brainer. We'll see. I'll see how they come apart, but what I'm going to do with these buggers is just slice them through. Slice the head off the screw, get it off the door, punch the remains in, and it's just not worth fucking around with them. A fiver, add them to the scrap bin. Right, what I need to do though is put some cardboard over the windscreen. We don't want grinder sparks all over the frickin' place. And that's how you do it. So, it's still warm. Just cut a couple of slots through there. Heads of the bolts come off. As predicted, dry as a witch's tit in there. And then with this, I think it's got dubious amounts of filler up here, around this mount here. It's cracked there. It's not been welded on properly at the bottom. It's absolutely full of rust on the inside. For the sake of 29 quid, I might as well just cut the A-post off it, and the footwell fit 2 new devices. Makes fitting the footwell easier as well. So let's get these off, because I want these trims. I'm not going to cut it off today, I don't think. Doing assessment at the moment. We're still doing an assessment. I think now that door rubber is off, I'm actually quite pleased I've made this decision. Fucking state of it. I mean, okay, it's kept it on the road, and it's reasonably solid. But if I got to cut the footwell out because of a mess down here, then I might as well do that as well. Or do I just continue patching it up? I could just put patches over the holes. So you cut the holes up there. But it's just shonky. It's a shonky mess. I don't know. I'm thinking about it still. Footwells are about, I can't remember exactly, 20 quid. A-posts are about 30 or 40 quid. And it goes up to here. So it includes both hinge mounts. I might need to also buy this panel up here, because it's possible that when I undo the screen bolt and cut all this chunk off, there might be fuck all behind it. I'm still thinking about it. Depends on how far I want to go with this. This rubber might be a bit gone, but I'm hanging on to it. Never chuck anything away. You can go in with the driver's door parts. Splash shield actually looks quite presentable on this. The steering box cover has been welded and welded and welded, and for the sake of a tenner, I'll just get a new steering box cover. That's the steering box cover. It's just nasty. But the actual splash guard itself looks relatively recent. You can get these in Galv. But I don't see a reason why I'd want to change that one. And that splash shield goes from here and then up over the top of the wheel arch. As you can see, it has been working, because this area up here is not caked in mud. But I don't know when that A-post was put on. It's a funny old game, isn't it? Right, I'll tell you what. This is the dash top panel. I wanted to get it out because, and also I'll see if I could do something with it, basically, by recovering it. But also it's a bit on the rusty side on the inside. Give that a clean up, lick of paint, bish bosh bash. What a bastard of a job getting it out. I mean, the manual sort of like suggests, start by removing engine. Anyway, lower dash. Again, it's not pretty, but it's all in. I need to find out how it attaches. Looks like it bolts through the bulkhead. There's no fixings on the inside here, but again, we've got tinsy issues with corrosions. I need to address that. The screen will have to come out to do that one, which is a pain. I was rather hoping not to. And also when I took this vent off, apart from the fact that pin is seized solid in there, there's holes along the top of the bulkhead here. And another hole there, you can see just above the rubber. So it's going to need some work to the top end of the bulkhead too. So this job's getting bigger. Bastard. There's also quite a lot of accessory wiring in here. Pretty sure there's a big chunk of these that are not Lucas. I don't think all the smoke has leaked out this loom yet. I don't know what that wire did. I thought this side, the driver's side, was iffy. Hang on to your hats, chaps. It's not good, is it? Just get a whole panel, whole top deck panel goes in skin over the top here. I suspect that's blown. That's fuller. There we are. Chicken wire. Is it chicken wire? It's filler. There we go. Yeah, because it's not like it's a safety critical area, is it, or anything like that. But, I mean, not saying that Stuart did this. This has been done sometime. Right, okay, so we knew we were going to change this top section here. I need to add the bulkhead top piece that runs along there and get that done as well. Now, the other thing that I've got a challenge on is there doesn't appear to be a nut to undo the other wiper, which is going to be a challenge. I might have to use a adjustable on this. I don't know what size it is. I suspect what's happened is someone's done it up so freaking tight that it's snapped off, which is exactly what's happened. I'm guessing. No, I can't even see it. Where is it? There it is on the top. Boop. No, it isn't. That's weird. Anyway, while I was undoing it all, I mean, this was wobbly. That pin over there was utterly seized in. I had to unwrap the pin holder. Utterly ruined. Right, let's get these wipers off. Screen out shouldn't be that difficult, I don't think. It's a case of undoing the bolts along the top there, undoing the bolts on the bottom, and the screen should go outwards. I'm rather hoping. Once it's moved a little bit, then you slip it sideways. That gives me a chance then to look at all of these things. Like, there you go. I'm just making my mind up here, aren't I? There's that yellow again. I wonder if the bulkhead came from a yellow car. I don't know any of the history behind this thing. No, because it's the blue there. Is there any blue? Yes, the blue's on the inside of the bulkhead. So that's all blue. Interesting. I love it when these jobs kind of get bigger than I was anticipating. Right, let's get on with it. So when you balls up your wipers and you basically shear off the bolt which holds the wiper on, what would you normally do? Try and find a way around it, or glue the fucker in? Oh, heaven's sake. Anyway, put it out now. Oh, that's still warm. Right. The wipers are off. Wiper motor is over there and the rack is all along here. I'll reassemble that and I'll lob it in the boot. And we're just looking now at bolts which secure the bulkhead in. I can't actually see any significant ones. I'm going to undo this plate here and see if I can draw the loom through. And the loom can all kind of then sit around in the shed out of the way of all the welding. This thing's got an alternator or dynamo. It should have an alternator, shouldn't it? It's over there somewhere. I'll have to have a look in a minute. That'll be a worthy upgrade. So I've got a feeling I'm going to have to get a new wheel box for this thing. Because I managed to completely mash this one. What's going on here? But all the smoke's leaked out of the loom. Not me. This is part of the main loom. And it's a green, light green, black tracer. I'd imagine it is the indicator. I mean, it's not exactly a lot of lights on the front of this thing, really. You've got 4 wires and they've managed to melt one of them. Right, we've got the bastard lower dash out now. which I think was going to be needed really in order to sort out the problems I got with the bulkhead. I didn't really want to be welding the skin at the top here while the bulkhead and the dash and everything and all the loom and everything was in there. So unfortunately it's just kind of turning into a bigger job than I anticipated. That piece there I'm not particularly bothered about. It's on the inside edge. Basically what's happened is water's been leaking in, yeah, and because this box that covers the windscreen wiper motor has been so effective, water's collected in there. It's rotted out the box, it's rotted out the bit of the bulkhead there, but that's just a flat piece of steel hidden. The rest of the bulkhead, it's actually not too bad. It does match the condition of the rest of the car, which is not too bad. Seen a lot worse, seen a lot better. But the bulkhead's rot out. This just is not a bad one. Right, I need to get this thing out. There's a lot of glass and rust and shit in it. I think it's just going to go everywhere, to be honest. And then I've got boxes of parts. So this is largely parts for the, need a bigger box. This is largely parts for the dashboard. So I'm going to have to get a bigger box, I think, and put the big bits in it, and then the screws and bits in the little grey box. I don't think that, does that come off? So that's spot welded on. That's the washer jets, which are both utterly mangled for some reason. I don't know why they're mangled. That's the hole for the wiper, the one to the right of it. That's a rust hole. Oh, extra ventilation. Yes. And there's a lot of broken glass on this tray, which indicates to me maybe, just maybe, the windscreen's been put through at some point. Got a lot of history in this car, you know, just no one knows it. Right. Fucking hell. It's not good, this. That's going to need a fair amount of work. I mean, it's connected to the heater controls because you've got the vent for the footwell. So you've got defrost and car. And I think it's just rusted into position for defrost. The other cable wasn't even connected, which was hot and cold. Not even connected. There's the heater box over there. And the cable was running down here towards the driver's side. So, yeah, I don't quite know what the heater was actually doing. I need to look at how the heater actually is supposed to connect up. But this is not good. I was expecting some trauma, but not quite the level of trauma that we've got with it. Now it explains why the vent on this side had the plastic bag stuffed in it, because I think that vent is jammed open. Oh no, closed now. Oh, it is moving the cable and the rest of the bulkhead. Maybe there is hope for it. No, I think it's fucked. I'm going to find a series breaker and see if I can get the lower dash panel. Right, let's get this fucking electrics out. Found the immobiliser switch. It was in the engaged position, so it wasn't immobilised. And I also sussed up what this little thing was in the middle of the dashboard. That was a flashing beacon light, as if it had some sophisticated alarm system fitted, which it didn't. It had a fucking little switch and a flashy light. Silly arses. Anyway, this stuff up here I'm peeling off. This is Dum Dum. It's like a old body seal, but this stuff has just gone rock solid, and you can see it's rusting behind it. Built-in obsolescence, you see, chaps. Been looking at this, and I think this is going to be a world of pain to restore. It might be easier to get another one. I'll have a look. It is a bit fucked. A bit fucked in a spectacular sort of fashion. I mean, it's just utterly fucking ruined. On that bit down there, that isn't even bloody connected. It might go back on, it might not. I don't know. I just don't know. I shouldn't break that bit because I want that bit. Right, so let's get these buck shields off, because that'll free up the space for me then. The screen needs to come out. This crap here, long cables. This crap here is the stuff that goes to the rear of the car, which I'll probably get rid of. Although the spot lamp on the back is actually quite useful. That's the spot lamp wiring up there. No, I was just interested. I was trying to figure out what was going on in the seats and blah 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 blah, and I found these two mystery wires that were going to the back of the dashboard, and I couldn't work out what they are. One red, one white, and then the funny beacon thing. And then I pulled the seat out and thought, oh, what's that shitty wiring there? And then found a switch on the other end of it. Funny old game, isn't it? What's that? Made in Rollinex LR. That's a bit of history for you chaps. That was the tray that went inside this thing. So it goes like that. I never did find out what that switch was. Never found it. Nor have I ever found a hazard warning light, which I'm surprised about. 1980 car, I would have thought would have had a hazard warning light. Not found it. Anyway. So you watched the other video, I hope, about the Series 2A indicator cancelling mechanism with the roller which went around the outside of the column. This one has a bloody great big sleeve with this lug on it, which then fits in the back of the steering wheel and cancels the indicator. Would it not have been easier to just drill a couple of dimples and then put a spring clip on it? Fuck's sake. How about that for over-engineering? That's pretty impressive for over-engineering. Right, okay, yes, it has got a worm on the tail end of it, so I'm not going to bother undoing any of that. What I'm going to do is undo the ball joint on the drop arm, and then undo the mounting bolts, undo the bolts up there, and I should be able to take the whole steering box, gearbox, and column out this way. This happens quite a lot with these old things. Split pit's been in there for about 2,500 years, and there's no way the split pin going to come loose because it didn't have any lube on it when it first went in. Why would you put lube on a split pin, for fuck's sake? So what I tend to do is get the correct sized socket, put him on the right way up. He's gone on. There we are. Go and get my friend Mr. Breaker, Rory, to his friends. Where's Rory gone? Alright, where's the fuck's Rory? Rory didn't want to play now. Rory's had enough. I just have Rory, oh he is, no. Couldn't see because of the light. Rory. And then we pop him on there. And we give him some. There he goes. And all it's really done is it's just sheared the split pin off. 2 bloody feet of God knows how much force. Whoops, that'll be the air box, air filter. Yeah, when you put split pins in these things, by the way, chaps, lube the fuckers up. Do the next person down the line just a tiny favour. Thank you, Rory. There we are. Oh, you now see when this comes off, all little bits of split pin are on the top. There we go. That's done that. Right, next thing I need to do is to get that joint off there. So normally what I do, noise warning, is give him a fucking good bang on the side. There he goes. He's gone. Works every time. Not actually banging the thread. I can't get a big enough swing against that one. It'll come off, don't you worry. I'm just not using a big enough hammer for now. Yeah, once I... Oh. Tell you what. Fucking arm is loose. I reckon I can get the bloody drop arm off this one. Oh, this would be a laugh. Let me get the first drop arm off a steering box, Land Rover steering box ever. Freaking nut's not even tight on it. Is this going to be the first one I've ever managed to... Do you know, honestly, and I'm not joking here, that has never happened before. I have never, ever, so long as my arse is pointed south, ever had a drop arm come off a steering box voluntarily. Does mean I can work on that on the bench. I'm going to need to take the, what's his name off? No, I should be able to do that. Anyway, let's get the steering box out first of all. That's what I came here to do. Marvelling at drop arms coming off. Fuck's sake, I mean, who put that on? I mean, they've used the lock washer and everything, but they didn't tighten it up. Love it. Well, that's it now. Steering column, box. I'm going to go service that anyway. And the rest of it is here. So I just need to take this plate off here now. There's a couple of hidden bolts that were hidden behind the steering box. Get those off, and then once that's all off, I can replace the footwell. And obviously line it all up with those bolts. Line it up with the bulkhead. No, I thought the light was on for a second. It's just the light inside the car that's reflecting off it. Yeah, start putting it back together again on this corner. Once I've welded that new footwell in. That's going to need a bit more work though, isn't it?